Hello. Hi, Issa. Hello, Gunnar.
Hi.
Hi. I'm really grateful to be with you, and thank you so much for coming today. Um, and today we have the four directions, in the order of things. And so Issa and I had asked Gunnar if he would be willing to sing the Four Directions song. And Gunnar is from Rosebud in South Dakota, and he's also a mentor and he works with youth and community, and he's also an amazing father. And so we welcome you, Gunnar, and thank you so much, and also the beautiful partner of Issa, who is a teacher and a mother and a mentor and a healer and a medicine person. And so I thank you for being here. And so Gunnar is willing to sing the Four Directions song for us um, to open our conversation today.
Yes. Okay. Let's get started. I don't know how to get started. Thanks for having me on, and I'm honored, privileged to share the Four Directions song.
Palamia.
We all beata kia he tuaya hai ne to ka shela ai tua he onkelo ai che ke ya yo Chekeayo haya hetua heyon kielo hayo waze atakea etuaya haere eton kashela ahetua heyon kielo 아예 체계야요 체계야요 하야 해두아 해양계로 아예요 위어향 바닥이야 해두아야 아예 내 통가세라 아해두아 해영계로 아예 체계야요 체계야요 하야 해두아 해영계로 아예요 이토하가 따기야 해두아야 아이레 내 통가세라 아해두아 해영kel로 아이레 체계야요 체계야요 하야 해두아 해영kel로 하예요 Let's do mitake yasi.
Palamia. Gracias, shukran. Thank you so much, Gunnar. And could I ask, Gunnar, just if there's anything else that you'd like to share about the Four Directions or about the song, or just if there's any other thoughts you'd like to share around that for our listeners? Or
Just we usually start our days praying to the four directions, and I just know that's really a foundation, the directions and how powerful that is, and how the rest of the directions in the center. I'm just always it's always a good way to start praying to the directions, and just remembering um, all the things that are involved with from the directions teachings to the numbers, and how those things are sacred to us.
Mm.
And it's just always been taught that way. So it's been a good a good teaching for me,
Mm.
and just being able to sing that song, it's an honor, and to know that song. And I've always wanted to learn it, and I've learned it over time. And we fill our chanupas with that song and praying to the directions. And it's there's so much power in that. So that's all.
Thank you, Gunnar. And thank you for bringing that and blessing that, bring that blessing to us and to our talk today.
Definitely, Char. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You guys have a good
Gracias. We love you.
dope Shah. I'll see you later.
Uh,
Have safe travels.
safe journey, Gunnar.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you. Can you make sure you shut the door?
Oh, Issa, that was so beautiful. I'm so grateful we started that way. Yeah.
It's so grounding.
Yeah. What a blessing. And Gunnar's voice is, oh my gosh, so I could just feel it in like my bones, and yeah, so beautiful. And so I was appreciating what he was saying too about, starting that's how to start the day,
Yeah.
starting the day with those four directions. And so I was wanting to um, to begin with wondering. So how can we do that?
Right.
And there's the four directions are the cardinal directions. So the east, the south, the north, the west. Um, in Mexico, when we're doing the Mayan prayer, we go like east, west, and then we go south, north. So it's a little bit different in how we call it in, but um, it's everywhere. Everyone has these cardinal directions. And so one of the things I've been thinking of course, is like the east, which is where the sun rises. And so I think this is a great way to enter like the sunrise, like, and the cardinal directions, and how to begin the day.
Right. I keep coming back, like every time I hear the Four Direction song, it takes me to Sundance in the
Yes.
morning. And our feet are on the ground. We're centering, we're grounding, and we're getting ready for our day through prayer.
Yeah.
And that's so emotional.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so it's like inspiring to share that with others, to go out. You don't need Sundance to go outside and to ground yourself and to acknowledge the four directions. It makes me want to go outside more and do that, during those moments, and to ground myself, and maybe my day will, be more fuller.
Yeah.
Sometimes we struggle, and I think maybe that's why I'm emotional, is because I personally need to do that more. It's not just during Sundance time.
Yeah.
Just during Sundance time. You can do that anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Oh, what a way to start our.
I know. We get to look through the tears in our eyelashes.
Yeah.
Just like at Sundance. We get to do that at Sundance. Every day. No crying. No.
But
Oh,
even asking for help, in each direction,
yes. Oh, I love that.
for guidance, you know. And at Sundance time, we face what the first? North? Is it? Do we face north first? West?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, yeah. It's west, isn't it?
That's west. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the first prayer
Mm-hmm.
is west.
And then, so west represents, help me, Shar.
Yeah. West represents the
The
bear lives
bear.
in the west. But the west is also the fall.
Mm,
And so it's that time of fall. So it goes like east is like the children coming in. And then we go to the south, which is we go into our adolescence. So it's this life cycle. And then it's of course
right.
the cycle of the day.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, so east is like sunrise, and then south is the strong time of day or the noon. And then the west is sunset, and it's like that going inside, and the element is the water, and the color in some traditions is black, or universally they say like 85% of the cultures have it is the color black. Although in Tengri or in Turkish, it's might be different, or in the Mayan tradition, it's the same. So
Mm,
it's just there's different colors, but in the traditions, and many of the traditions that I carry, it's similar or the same. So I love that.
yeah.
So yeah, the West is water, the bear. To make a short story long, no. um, it's the time of fall. It's also the time of midlife, and it's the sunset.
Right.
You know, so that's an interesting place to begin.
Yeah.
Like our prayer
Right.
for that ceremony. You know, I begin in the east usually because my Honkaman Barbara means Adams, and she's from the Makaha clan of the Oglala Lakota. She taught me that I should begin in the east, which is a different way, but it's also a very old way. And she said she liked to begin in the really old way, so she taught me to start in the east, and then I just go the cycle,
Yeah.
so um, so when I go out in the morning, I'll begin like, oh, the east, and I begin with like that sunrise, you
Right.
know. Um, yeah, and so I think that there's something really important about, like you said, asking for help and for guidance from the direction.
Yeah.
Um, and so when we go to the west, I mean, I, I mean, Sundance is like a really hard prayer,
Right.
you know. Um, and and it's difficult for many days, but the I do this every morning.
Yeah.
I do it every single day. Like, I didn't used to actually talk to anyone before I did it. I would just go straight outside and I wouldn't even talk to anybody. But now I was like, oh, I think that's rude. I think
Good morning. We made it to another day.
right. I know. I'm like, okay. Now I'm like, hi everyone. Like, good morning. Like, I use like, oh my gosh. I think like, yeah. So I get to be friendly, So now
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I need to be kind to the people in addition to being so excited to greet spirit.
Right. Right. Right.
So, but exactly, that's it. Like I go outside and I'm like, great spirit, like good morning, great spirit. Like I'll even say that when I'm going out the door, and just, and then I just start to breathe in the scents, and this, like in the winter that it smells very different, and what comes to me immediately is very different than what's coming to me now in the summer,
Right. Right.
right? So in the winter is the north. So, but right now we're in the south because it's the summer. So it's very different what I feel and hear and experience, and my heart like is so warm, and all the smells are like so like bright in the
Yeah.
summer, you know? Um, yeah, so and then I usually go to the east first and greet the sun, and then to the south, and then to the I'm also thinking of those times of day when I do that, like, oh, help me to have a good morning, and then when I go to the south, I'm like, help me to have a good afternoon, and then when I go to the west, it's like, oh, help me to have a good and help me to be a good teacher or mentor or whatever my job is, like help
Yeah.
me to be that person you want me to be. And then I ask my ancestors for help, usually in the west, and I ask for anything that I might need from them, and then I go to the north and I give thanks for the dreams. Then what Gunnar was saying about sky, earth, and then center, like I ask for the good of the masculine, the good of the feminine, the good of the integrative, the non-binary, and then I pray to creator.
You know, what's kind of interesting is that so we have 7, right?
Yeah.
And then but there's also 7 chakras. So it's like, how could you integrate those two together?
I hadn't
You
ever
know?
thought of that. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, there's the 7 power centers of the being, you know. I wonder about that. And the colors,
Yeah.
I also think about
Yeah.
layers, like, and how the colors could work together. And,
Mm.
you know, I mean, yeah, the other thing is the soul, and how the soul is like how we're inside of the soul. Like when the soul isn't inside of us, how we're inside of the soul. And so there's also this like field of electricity. There's this presence that we carry with us, and how do these things help us to balance and to stay in the center of those places, and to, I mean, be able to serve those things also,
Right.
um, so because everyone has the 4 directions,
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone globally, it's on every map, it's on in every heart, it's, so it's just like, it makes me think there's this expression that I've heard called true north.
Hmm.
Like, what is our true north? And that's like the dream. And it's so interesting because in our session today, like I was seeing that star,
Yeah.
morning star, um, and I just know how I feel when I see that star because the moon is usually with it, and
Ah.
you know, so it's
So right before you said that, I was like thinking like, oh, I have no direction. If I was in the forest, I would be totally lost, like you have that direction instilled inside you.
yeah,
But then when you reminded me of that, I was like, oh, duh, you know,
right.
look for that morning star.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, yeah. Right? And she will give you everything you need, you know? So I love that. Like, I think that that's an important thing. So how do we find our direction?
Yeah.
When we've lost it, like what helps? So that would be my curiosity, is what can we do to help ourselves find the direction, find the right direction?
Yeah. And then it made me think like when you were speaking, and it plays along with find your direction. Because we started and it was emotional and grounding. And that keeps coming up, like place your feet on the ground,
Right.
and then maybe that helps find your direction. But also like we was emotional. I can't even imagine the viewers that
Mhm.
will feel that same type of energy that we felt, and finding that direction or that peace or that grounding or that rebalance.
Mm.
It's like, how can we help ourselves after that? Because I was thinking like, oh my goodness, like we had to gather ourselves because we're recording, right?
Right.
And a viewer could still be feeling that emotion
Yeah.
or that energy. And so it's like, finding that direction. Which direction are you going to go to? Do you turn internally? Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling? And just jot a few things down, that I do that all the time. And it's like myself is speaking to me. And
I
it's all
love
my
that.
internal,
Myself is speaking to me. I love
yeah,
that.
and it's all my internal voices. Yeah, that kind of sounds crazy, all
No,
my
no, no.
internal.
Carl Jung would say, he'd be like, yeah, all our little people inside.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like you have all these people in all ages and they're all speaking and they're all
Mm,
guiding you in a direction that is where you're supposed to be going.
mm. Yeah. I think also and there are times in life, you know, this is something that um, I've read in some of the Wellbriety materials, but just that we're in different periods of the directions in our lives that Don C. Gathered some elders and gathered a lot of wisdom in his recovery, creating something in recovery for the indigenous mind and with indigenous language and they talk about in the book the elders talk about these different elders, this wisdom from people in recovery. It talks about how we're in different seasons in different things, so maybe in a relationship we might be like, oh, we're in the winter of the relationship where some things are dying off and other things are coming into being, and maybe we're in the springtime in our career, or we're in the east where it's a new beginning, or maybe we're in the summer where it's more about sustainability and nurturing and growing, cultivating harvest, or the adolescent is the summer, maybe we're in the adolescence of something,
That's
um,
interesting.
hmm so I really like those ideas, and I've noticed that, and I've really seen that in my own life,
Right.
my own relationship too.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Just it's different things.
that goes for me too. It's in my relationships and the different cycles. And I've always felt that we were in different seasons, but I never connected them until just now. I just always knew, or you felt it,
Yeah,
but now it makes sense that, it's summertime, but we might not be in actual summer,
yeah.
in our relationship or our career or even our personal growth and healing. We might be in a different season or direction.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to
then,
accept that too, right? Sometimes.
yeah, it's like, how do you align all of that? You have all your circles and then you have your string or your piece that's going to keep you. Yeah. And it's like, how do you keep on balance?
I think I was thinking about this, that this is like this was a textbook that I had for one of my classes, and by a guy named Brian Schwimm, and he's a scientist. He's really a scientist that works with space, and he had this theory. He said everyone is the center of the universe,
Hmm.
and we're all like sending, and his analogy was really funny. He's like, it's like raisin bread, like everybody's a raisin. Everybody is the center of the, of the
Yeah.
loaf of bread, and it's just like And that's true. And I think everything that, and then we send out all this energy to the four directions,
Right.
and we send it out into the universe. And so if we can all start thinking, oh, whatever, it's like you were saying about the singing, that it's like you can feel the vibration and the connection, and that's our voices. Our voices are doing that. And I pray out loud when I pray to the directions.
Yeah.
Most often, like I go out and I pray out loud. Not that there's any better way or not better way. It's just for me, I found that to be a really good way,
Right.
and it honors all of my ancestors, to do that. And so I think that there's something. I always feel like shy, like my ancestors. I love them so much. Um, so I think that there's something about that. And when you're talking about connecting the power centers, I do think of sky and center and earth and great spirit, and those power centers of like my vision, my voice, my heart, my love nature, my power, right? My connection to what has meaning and value to me, my
Mhm.
survival, my thriving, my connection to the earth. And I love that,
Yeah.
thinking about that way, you know?
It's powerful.
Hmm.
And just how you said, you pray out loud.
Yeah.
And that's in like motivation and encouragement to me. Like, use your voice more, like they hear you. Maybe your voice will travel faster if you're speaking
Mm.
out loud, through
The
the
motivation.
frequencies and the vibrations. And maybe I'll sing my prayer. No, just kidding.
Ah! Do it. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. Right? I think it's so exciting. And so I think I think it's important that we know that we all have this ability to be connected with nature and to go outside and to build this relationship, but also that there's guidance.
Right.
So I know for me, it's like we were talking about receiving guidance and praying. Like the sacred pipe is a way to pray. I don't know if people know what that is, but it's the sacred pipe. Do you want to speak to the sacred pipe?
Go ahead. You were going.
Okay. Um, it's
I'll add in if I need to.
okay. Isn't that, yeah. So it's like when it comes together, it's like it's the great spirit is listening, and then that smoke is going up, and it's prayers on smoke in smoke. So the smoke is for the great spirit. We're praying, but we're sending that smoke up to the creator, and it's our prayer. It's our prayer.
So I'm trying to think the stem of the pipe and the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
One represents what and one represents what? Is it the female and the male, and then we're
Yes.
connected?
Mhm.
So even that, and then the smoke goes up, your prayer goes up.
Yeah, then it's that integrative. So the male and the female come together, and then it's that integration of those two. The non-binary binds them and connects them, and then the smoke. Then the creator gets those prayers, right? Collects
Right.
those.
It's unity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's unity yeah, it's unity. Yeah. That's so amazing, Issa.
It is.
It's unity. That's what we need everywhere now. Hmm. Yeah. So
That a question with that, it's like, what is unity to you? What does unity mean to you? Or what does that look like for you? It's just something to reflect and ponder on, and
I already started. I was like, oh.
I know. I
I know.
when I said that, I was like,
I was like,
that's
oh.
interesting. You
Mhm.
don't think about that until you're like in deep thought
Yeah.
or reflecting. And sometimes you just do,
Yeah.
because that's how you're like, you don't think about when you put your pipe together and then you put your prayers in the pipe.
Right.
You're just thinking about your prayer and for the people.
Mhm.
but the unity that comes,
From when it.
yeah, when it connects
Mhm.
to even the connection to the prayer that you're putting, even just getting into the chashasha or the tobacco or whatever and putting it, like, even that is a connection, and like your energy from
Yeah.
one thing to another.
And then that even getting like it's the chanshasha is like that. It's like between the bark
Mm-hmm.
and the wood.
Right.
So right. So it's just that really so it's like you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you're getting the right part. You don't want to be
Right.
smoking the outer bark, you know. So it's interesting, like the level of attention, then permission from the tree, permission to take the branch, you know.
Right.
So it's a whole every it's like a whole ceremony. Every
Yeah.
part of it is it's about attention and you know, and when I think about unity, it's like it's attention and it's about relationship
Mm-hmm.
and talking to each other and having
Yeah.
conversations and creating a situation where everybody gets what they need.
Right. And using and knowing that your voice is powerful, so use it with love, use it with good intentions, use it with good energy.
Yeah, yeah, it's important, and yeah, I think you're better at that than I am, sister. I'm just like, oh my God. I admire you so much. You inspire me so much around that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you just like said that with so much love. And yeah, you just like lift people up with your, yeah, even with the most difficult conversation.
Yeah,
It's
those
incredible.
are the hardest, but those are the most healing and
Mhm.
evolving into whatever it is
Mhm.
that whatever direction you need to go.
The evolution.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful. And so, what kind of practice do you think could be good in this coming week for
I
our
feel like grounding, going outside, connecting with the ground, connecting with the directions, but also, the sky, the earth, your center. I feel like chakras. I have a book that says chakras and it's like right in front of me and
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh!
yes, chakras connected to your chakras.
Yes, yes. And that's an Indian tradition from India. So we have the Native American Indian, and we have
Right.
the India Indian.
Yeah.
You know, I think they
And
want to
then
hold hands.
unity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want to have unity for sure. I think so.
I think even just like I said, pondering on what that is to you, what it looks like,
Yeah,
and how you can take a step into that.
yeah, I love that. And I think also I really liked what we were talking about the different directions. Like,
Oh
what,
yeah.
yeah, what direction are you going? And what direction are you in? Are you in a beginning in the east? Are you in kind of a more of a cultivation, which is the south, or adolescence time in a project, person, place, thing, situation? Are you
Right.
more in the sunset, or are you more in the winter, or like the letting go and going
Mm.
on, or so I'd be curious if anyone is having those experiences of those who are
Yeah.
with us in our talk about the order of things.
I don't Angelo keeps coming to me, so I hope he's listening.
Oh, yes. Oh, he loves it. Yeah, he loves the talks. I know he will. Yeah.
I hope he's doing good and
Yeah.
whatever direction he is in right now.
Mm. Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
why he's coming in so strong, but he is.
Well, yeah, and he's such a blessing, and his dance is so beautiful, and his heart is so beautiful, and yeah, he's one of my dearest friends, and
Yeah,
so grateful.
I
He's
like his energy. He has
beautiful.
good energy.
Love to Angelo. Shout out to
Yeah.
Angelo. He's doing the good work. He's yeah, yeah, the rites of passage for the youth, and yeah. Wow. And so we look forward to seeing you next week in the order of things. And
Yeah.
let us know about your experience with the directions and what direction you're going in and your thoughts about your power centers and how you want to align those. But especially, like, what direction are you going? And
Yeah.
unity question you asked, I love that.
Right.
So if people want to tap into that also, that would be.
Mhm.
Any closing words, Issa, before we?
Um, love you guys.
Love
Um,
you.
some of the messages that come through are so inspiring, and it keeps motivating me to share my voice and what I have to offer. And a lot of times it's just from guidance and the unknown. So even while we're having this conversation, it's also teaching. I'm also learning. You know, how you teach, you learn. So I'm also learning alongside with all you viewers and alongside Char, because I'm sure she's learning more, you know.
My gosh, so much. Yeah, I always learn more than I'm just like, oh my gosh, yeah. How I always see how little I know and how much I want to and need to. I'm so hungry to learn more.
Yeah, me too. So I'm just thankful for you guys.
Mm. I'm
Yeah.
thankful for you and thank you, Issa. And thank you for doing these talks with me. I'm so excited for our work together, for this voice going into the world and just sharing this medicine.
Right.
This is a good pill to swallow. No. This is good
Yeah.
medicine. So yes, and so we'll see you next week um and we look forward to it and yeah, let us know your thoughts. Love you guys.